You need on-the-go convenience. Novex Smart Hub delivers. Pay your electric bills, view your energy use, report an outage, and receive alerts regarding your account. With Smart Hub, use your credit card with no processing fees. Level out your monthly electric bills by enrolling in budget billing through Smart Hub. Easily access it through Novex mobile app or at novec.com. You're on the go. Novex Smart Hub goes with you.
Hi, this is Shannon Storms-Bedore, Real Housewife of Orange County and entrepreneur. When my company, Real for Real, started selling our health products online, we struggled to ship our orders out quickly and without error. But ShipStation's simple dashboard made it easy to manage orders from every marketplace. Plus, with ShipStation, we get up to 84% off USPS and UPS rates. Automate your shipping with ShipStation. Go to shipstation.com/audio for a free 60-day trial. That's shipstation.com/audio.
Stand by for an urgent bulletin.
Quiet, numbskulls, I'm broadcasting.
This is the Bob and Jeff Show, starring Bob Lutz.
I don't get it. I'm flustered. It's like we're talking two different languages. My God.
Now I'll explain it so even you can understand it.
Jeff Lutz.
Are you okay? You might need to go with Duda to the doctor later.
In an insane society, the sane man must appear insane.
And Jason Duda. For today, anyway.
True, I got to give him a point there. Although it was wrong, he's doing all right. I'll let him leak out for a little while.
Me so sorry. Oh, so.
97.5 and 1240 KFH.
Strap yourself in and feel the G's.
We are back. Hour number 2, the Bob and Jeff Show. Jason Duda joining us today, the three-man booth. Next Thursday, we'll make our first picks of the football season, and that will go into February. And the Super Bowl, we pick forever and ever.
We do, and that's why I usually end up winning it at the end. Except last year when I won.
I don't recall you ever winning it.
Oh, Robert, just stop.
Well, I seriously don't.
Oh, well,
do we write that stuff down? Because I don't recall.
Maybe we need to get like a little trophy, and that way we'll know who won it. But then, do we actually know who wins it?
I won it last year. Max kept.
I don't remember you winning it.
You
last
were
year.
gone for 6 months.
I made picks.
Did you?
Yes.
Did you?
Absolutely, I did.
Okay. Well, you weren't on top of.
And I was gone for 2 months.
Yeah, me and Duda held it down and kind of kept the show alive.
Well, yeah, that's what happens when you host the show when the main attraction is gone. You try to keep the show alive.
And we did.
Now, when I came back, I'm going to be honest with you, it was barely breathing.
Yeah, but we had a pulse, right, Jeff?
We did.
As long as you got a pulse, you're
Another
still
week,
alive.
it'd have been a goner.
We did some innovative stuff.
We'll never know. I mean, the Sim Gym 2000 is coming back.
What an embarrassment that was.
Oh, you didn't like the Sim Gym?
Oh,
what it work about 60% of the time?
It wasn't a real thing, but yeah, it did. It is real.
If we were playing, we're batting 600.
That's pretty good.
That's pretty good. 600? Absolutely. Take that all day.
We will take 60%.
Well,
imagine gambling at 60%.
Yeah, I'll just say this: if I were to leave the show again for 2 months, I don't think Tony would. I don't think Tony Dusing would have anything to do with that.
Do it.
Sim Gym? Oh, yeah.
No, with you two.
Tony used to walk by, and as soon as the Sim Gym sound would come on, he'd be like standing at the door like, yeah.
Really?
I love that.
Oh, really?
Sure.
You got a lot of positive feedback.
We knew. Thumbs up. Oh, yeah. It was
our program director.
Guaranteed.
He loved it.
I go to
Max
coffee.
loved it.
I'd grab a coffee after work in the morning at the QT, and I'd always run into somebody and be like, hey, that's Sim Gym.
It sounds like what you're saying, Duda, is that there it is.
Is that the Sim Gym sound?
It sounds like what you're saying, Duda, is that the show is better with you and Jeff running it.
I'm just speaking. If you want to read into things or see things like they are, Bob, that's totally up to you.
I mean, yeah, there can be a lot of different opinions out there. Certainly, you saying it was better when we were doing it, that's one opinion.
869-1240, the IHOP hotline. We're going to preview Oklahoma State football shortly. Shohei Ohtani, who we think, needs surgery, his second Tommy John surgery. should get it now, but says he's going to continue to DH for the Angels, who are going nowhere.
Yeah, why?
I don't get it. Somebody needs to get Shohei and tell him, listen, you get the surgery now. You're going to be able to hit the ground running as a DH for your new team next season. If you wait until after the season, you may not be available to play for your new team until June or July of next year. I do not understand this thinking. The Angels have, in my view, abused him. I'd tell them to stick it where the sun don't shine.
How have they abused him?
By using him too much.
He pitches once a week.
Yeah, he shouldn't be pitching at all. He shouldn't have pitched the other day. He'd been complaining about some soreness,
fatigue.
Well, that's soreness.
No, it's not.
What's fatigue? When you have fatigue as a pitcher, what do you feel?
Fatigue, like I don't have anything. It doesn't hurt.
It doesn't hurt.
Yeah, I had some days where I couldn't even lift my legs going to first base, but it didn't hurt. They were just tired, and you know what I'm saying? You get it.
No, he doesn't get it.
It hurts.
It didn't hurt. It didn't hurt.
Trying to run and their legs are heavy and trying to get
that
down
doesn't
there,
hurt.
Yeah,
it just
it
sucks.
hurts. It hurts.
It didn't hurt me, but I hated it.
They shouldn't have pitched Shohei Ohtani. And he shouldn't DH for the Angels the rest of this year. He should never again set foot in the Big A. How do you like those apples? That thing's over. He shouldn't give them any hope that they can re-sign him because he's done with them. They don't win. He wants to go somewhere and win. It's very important to go somewhere.
And why is he still playing?
I don't know.
I'd have
some
some loyalty to that organization.
He's got integrity, yes. But integrity's not always warranted. In this case, he should go get the surgery, start the rehab, and start to count the dollars and talk to his agent about just what kind of a contract they're expecting. Forget the Angels; they're done, right? Right, Duda?
Was
he didn't
that a
set you up
question?
for that one, did he?
Well, but the sad thing is, I agree. I mean, he's got to go.
How long
Get
did
out
it
of
take
there.
Bryce Harper to come back from Tommy John? Just a few months or something like that?
Well, he wasn't. He's playing first base. He's not playing the outfield.
Neither will Shohei, and Bryce came back as a DH at
This is
first.
his second, and he's a pitcher. Bryce Harper wasn't a pitcher.
Okay, but
this is a little more potentially complicated situation with Shohei Ohtani than it was for Bryce Harper.
But we can pretty much say Shohei's not going to pitch next year.
Right, but to come back as a DH, he needs to be ready on opening day to step in the batter's box for the Los Angeles Dodgers, who I view as a front runner to sign him.
Bryce Harper got Tommy John and was back as a DH 160 days later.
And you're saying that Shohei's going to...
I'm not saying.
I
saying
would
if
guarantee it. I wouldn't wait until October to get this surgery.
Well, if you can do it in 3 months, you're ready for spring
Shohei's
training.
a free agent. Bryce Harper wasn't. He was under contract to the Phillies.
Even more reason not to rush back, right? If you're
you rush back because you don't want to sit out for your new team.
He's been there 8 years.
No, for his new team in free agency, you dumb.
You're talking about Bryce Harper. What do you even say?
I'm going to reach out to Duda's wife one more time about this trip
Well, I was
out to
talking about
Topgolf.
Bryce Harper coming back, and you said, well, he rushed back because he's a new team.
Here's what I'm going to say to my very good friend Dia. Table for 6.
Great.
Because I'm not going to go out there with somebody who wants Shohei Ohtani to rush back.
I didn't say he's rushing back. I'm saying it's possible to do. And if Bryce Harper's rushing back when he's already guaranteed the money, then he must have been healthy. And if Shohei can get healthy in 4 or 5 months.
Tommy John surgery, he's not a pitcher, and he's only played first base.
Neither
Bryce Harper.
Neither for this argument is Shohei a pitcher.
Shohei can't play first base. He's only a DH.
Right, so perfect.
And he needs to be ready to roll for his new team on opening day. There is no sense, in my opinion, for him to continue to suit up and DH for the Los Angeles Angels, who have betrayed him.
We don't even know
who have who have not utilized him.
This is when he knows he's wrong. He keeps talking, trying to just bury himself.
Who have scoffed at him. He needs to move on from the Angels ASAP. Jason Duda, your thoughts?
Well, I don't think they've abused him. But when you're pitching and hitting, and as much as he did before he got to the Angels, he's probably breaking down a little bit. So that was coming. But I agree with the fact that he shouldn't be playing right now. Go get yourself healthy, because he's going to sign one of the biggest contracts that we've seen in a while.
What's 1 month?
Well, there's 1 month for a new team, maybe a lot. That might be getting at the start of the season or a month or 6 weeks into the season.
Okay, but what's 1 month when you're signing the guy for 9 years?
If you're paying a guy $400 million, I want him to play.
I want him to be there on opening day. This is the biggest free agent signing ever. We've announced that we're signing Shohei Ohtani. Oh, by the way, he'll play on June 1. That my fan base doesn't want to hear that.
Oh, please.
We want to go to the ballpark.
He'll play on June
April 1 and see Shohei Ohtani in our team's uniform.
He'll play June 1, 2024. He'll play the entire 2025, 26,
I'd like him to play April 1 and
29,
and play the same
30,
thing.
31.
There's no reason for him not to play on opening day next year.
There might be.
Go get the surgery now, and we'll see you in L.A. in a Dodger uniform on opening day.
He's going to play for the Mariners.
He's not going to play for the Mariners.
Probably going to play for the Rockies, because you can imagine how many bombs he's going to hit out of there.
Maybe he will. I don't understand.
He's joking. You're dead serious.
I don't understand.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think the Rockies have a chance.
I don't understand. Harper did it. And you say, well, he's not a pitcher. Well, neither is Shohei next year. He's not a pitcher.
He was 6 months, right? 160 days, 6 months, 6 plus.
Sure.
That's what? You said 3 earlier, but your math was off.
Well, 60 days in a month.
I mean, you couldn't put forward.
I don't know how many days
a more illogical argument.
3
you
months.
Don't know how many days are in a month.
3 months, but then another 3 because you got to rehab. You get it.
And it started when you said that when you feel fatigue, you don't feel pain.
I didn't.
You don't know. You felt everything about you felt pain.
No, it didn't.
So you couldn't run, but everything you felt just fine.
No, it did not hurt though. It felt like crap, but it didn't hurt. There was no pain. I didn't need to come out of the lineup because I was injured.
Well, what would you call that feeling? How would you define it?
It felt like my legs were 400 pounds each, and I could barely run down.
Seems like that'd be painful.
It wasn't. It was just uncomfortable.
Which is kind of painful when it's uncomfortable.
Why can't you just trust the way I felt? You're like, no, you felt this.
Well, you're asking me. I mean,
well, yeah, you are asking him.
Not anymore.
I had lots of those days.
I withdraw my question.
And did you go to the trainer and say, my legs feel a little uncomfortable, but there's no pain. I just can't play.
Yeah, I don't think.
I didn't ever not play.
That would not have went over well.
Yeah.
Really? So, hey, my legs are feeling heavy today, Doc. Can we
massage? Felt heavy. My legs felt heavy most nights.
Well, we could tell.
Oh, now we're getting personal.
Oh, yeah, there you go, Jeff.
Oh, yeah, that's how you...
Oh, yeah, I'm going to New York. Let's start with
He's got a jersey hanging from an arena.
Well, so does everyone else.
So now you're downplaying that.
Well, he set me up so perfectly. I had to take the shot.
To take the shot. I give him that.
Well, I feel bad for Shohei. I feel bad for him, and I think he's.
Why feel bad for him? He can make his own decision.
I hear you.
So you can't.
I like the guy. Can I just like the guy?
There's no way the Angels are pressuring him to play.
Yeah, like
you know what the Angels ought to say? Hey, Shohei, we get it. We're not going anywhere. We miscalculated at the trade deadline. We've screwed this thing up. It's up to us to figure out how to dig out from it. We don't expect you, and in fact, we implore you.
I don't think they miscalculated. I think it just didn't work out.
No, they miscalculated.
They were playing well going into the trade deadline and weren't that far out and got some pieces that should have.
They miscalculated.
Upgraded.
They could have gotten a haul for Shohei, even for a rental. He would have brought them.
But you have to, if you think you're going to lose him, you have to try to get to the postseason once with him. You have to.
No. I disagree.
If you get to the postseason, that's way more valuable.
It's one of the most poorly run franchises in professional sports.
If you get to the postseason with Shohei, that's way more valuable than getting the number 2, 5, 8, 11, and 14 prospects from the Giants.
Not for the long-term health of your organization. They should have done that, right?
Well, that's kind of the same thing as talking to, no, I don't know.
You wouldn't have traded Shohei at the break, at the trade deadline. You would have kept
the
him
backlash they'd
and
have
been in this
awful.
situation.
But I don't think everybody knowing he's going into free agency, though, who's going to give up that much, especially if he's injured?
Well, what if you are the Dodgers, or what if you are the Mariners? And you say, I want Shohei to come here. Now, I'm in pain right now because I'm having a cramp.
That's
so what we're going to do is take a break.
Are you
come
okay?
back? Back in a minute.
This is the Bob and Jeff Show on 97.5 and 1240 KFH.
All right, we are back. This is the Cars, all mixed up, ups and downs. One of those words is in every tune you've heard this week on the show. We are going to talk some Oklahoma State football right now. How about that? We're still trying to get him. How about that? We'll try to get Scott Wright, and when we do, we're going to talk Oklahoma State football with him.
How's the cramp? Everything sort itself out over the
You don't
break?
care, and that's obvious.
What if I do care? Wouldn't that shock you? Wouldn't that just stun you?
It would stun me.
If I cared.
Who cares more about the cramp I just had? You or Jason Duda?
Well, Jason's not even paying attention to the conversation.
Well, you guys, this is going to go on, so have at it, and then I'll jump in when needed. Just the way it rolls.
I care a little.
Do you? I think he cares a hair.
I think there's some concern. I would agree.
Well, when you start grimacing, who knows what you're feeling? But then you said it was a cramp, and
as I told Duda when you went upstairs, in the years I've done radio, I don't recall ever having to bail out because of a cramp.
That may be the first ever on a radio show, to tell you the honest truth.
I've never heard it.
Because to get a cramp and have to go to commercial break, I don't know if I've ever heard that.
Well, we'll get back to that.
Not any kind of mental toughness. But
Scott Wright joins us from the Daily Oklahoman. We're going to preview Oklahoma State football. Hello, Scott.
Hey, listen, I've been having some finger cramps. If I drop my phone, that's all it is, okay?
Oh, you're jumping on this wagon, huh?
You fit in really well here.
Yep. Stay as long as you want.
Okay, on that note, let's get into Oklahoma State, because I think you've been on before when my son Jeff has said, do something Oklahoma State. My retaliation to that is that they haven't had a losing season since Mike Gundy's debut in 2005. So
correct.
Where is that? Where are we with Oklahoma State football? Are there more people who think like my son that, hey, it's time to win something meaningful? Or are there more people who think maybe like me that the consistency in a positive way for this program is highly commendable?
Man, that is tough to dissect, because there are a lot of people that feel both ways. So there's people on both sides of that aisle. So because you look at Mike Gundy's numbers from season to season. You look at his success rate against top 25 teams. You can look at a lot of information that really makes you respect the consistency of the program that Mike Gundy has built. And then you can look at some things like his 2 wins in 18 years against Oklahoma, or the fact that they haven't they've won one Big 12 title in the entire time that he's been the head coach there. They were just on the outside of what was at the time the BCS championship game back in 2011. So they've had their moments, but they've had their consistency. But you're right, there is some respect for the consistency, but also some questions about, is this all that is there? Is there something more that you guys can accomplish in Stillwater?
So what do you make of the quarterback situation at Oklahoma State? The carousel in the offseason with the transfer portal was pretty crazy. One guy left, the guy who left the other place replaced him at that place. It was fun, but it was also, quite the trip. So Oklahoma State ends up with Bowman from Michigan, Alan Bowman. Spencer Sanders goes to Mississippi State. Do you feel like that's an upgrade?
That's hard to say. I would say from a talent and experience standpoint, it is an upgrade. Spencer Sanders won 30 games as the quarterback at Oklahoma State. He was a really talented player and still is, even though it's not looking great for him at Ole Miss. It looks like he might be second or even third.
Mississippi.
Yeah, so it's tough to kind of analyze because it's things had gotten a little bit rocky for him, and particularly offensive coordinator Casey Dunn toward the end of last season when things went so poorly, and he was trying to play through shoulder pain and all of these things. So it felt like something that needed to happen. So to try to say that Alan Bowman is an upgrade is really tough. He was really good in 3 years at Texas Tech. Hasn't really done anything of significance. He's been the third string guy at Michigan the last 2 years. So it's hard to know exactly what you're going to get. And now they've got a quarterback competition with Garrett Rangel, who started 3 games last year after Sanders got hurt, and as a true freshman, and has really come on strong now in his redshirt freshman season. But it's just hard to know. Mike Gundy said yesterday he's going to play multiple quarterbacks in the opener, and we'll see how that goes. He's never really done that before, by choice anyway. And so it's a tough time to really get a good read on what the quarterback situation is at Oklahoma State. They feel like they've got good guys, but just there's a lot of unknown.
Well, and obviously with the portal, the guys are jumping and going here and leaving and coming and going, and half the time you don't know who you got on what side. So when it comes to Oklahoma State with the guys they lost and guys coming in and the portal, how does the offense look? How does the defense look? Has it been upgraded? Is it kind of staying the same? Where are we at?
They had a lot go out in the portal, but they really replaced them well. It'll be one of those things where you don't know exactly what you've got until you get on the field, because they are bringing some guys that have been at Group of 5 schools, haven't played Power 5 football at this point in their careers, but have been really successful and really productive where they've been. They fit well with the schemes that Oklahoma State runs. So we'll have to see what they can do. Like with Bowman, he's going to have to shake the rust off and get back to that guy that he was in 18, 19, and 20 at Texas Tech when he was going out and throwing for almost 400 yards a game. So they've got a lot of pieces that they've brought in. They've got Dejon Stribling, who was the leading receiver at Washington State a year ago. So they're really excited about what he could be on the outside for them there. They've got Elijah Collins was a rotational running back at Michigan State. He's been the feature back up there earlier in his career. A big physical guy who understands power football and some of the things that they're trying to do with the run game this year. So they've got some interesting pieces. The defense is really fascinating because they're going to have a lot of new faces, plus a new scheme and a new defensive coordinator. Brian Nardo comes in, brings in the 3-3-5 that Iowa State in particular has run incredibly well. That's where Nardo got the initial kind of inspiration for it, and he's put his own fingerprints on it in the last few years since he's been running it. But he's a guy coming up from the Division II level. He was at Gannon University in Erie, Pennsylvania at this time a year ago. So, but guys like Justin Wright and Anthony Goodlow, who are both at Tulsa, they've run this defense before, but not against Big 12 teams on a regular basis. Or Justin Kirkland comes in from Utah Tech, and he's 6'4", 346, and looks the part of a nose guard, but he's going to have a more physical guy on the opposite side of him now. So a lot of questions. But a lot of reason for excitement at Oklahoma State right now.
We're talking with Scott Wright, talking about Oklahoma State football. He's from the Daily Oklahoman. So, Scott, as we've been doing these previews, and we've done 8 of them this week with 6 more to go next week, we're buried in it. It's like we're talking to beat writers covering a bunch of teams who are probably in the 40s and 50s nationally in terms of rank. So my question to you is, we've got Texas and Oklahoma leaving the conference. Who is best positioned to become the dominant Big 12 football program after this year?
That is a fantastic question, and I probably don't have a great answer for you because I just don't know who can. I see so many good teams in this league. I don't see one being able to rise to the top and stamp themselves as the dominant force in this league. I think it's going to be, at least for a while, a league that sees a lot of turnover at the top. I remember after the 2021 Big 12 championship game when Baylor and OSU faced off and had that fantastic game down in Arlington where Baylor makes a 4th down stop inches short of the goal line on a potential game-winning touchdown. I was proclaiming that Baylor and OSU were gonna dominate this new conference because we had just learned a few months earlier that OU and Texas were leaving, and I was talking about how OSU Baylor was going to be the next great rivalry, and they were going to be the kingpins of the Big 12, and we were going to see this matchup over and over again. And a year later, it's TCU and Kansas State in that game. OSU and Baylor are nowhere to be found, and they're down in the middle of the pack. So I think it's going to be that way. And Kansas State has always been a very consistent program. Oklahoma State, for the most part, has been really consistent. So I like where programs like that stack up. I think the newcomers are going to have a little bit tougher time. I see what Kansas is doing, and I can see reason for excitement there. And the Texas schools, I think Texas Tech has a really good leader in Joey McGuire. I think he's a great guy to be leading a college football program. So, and I still think Baylor has all the pieces to be really good again and bounce back. So
I'd throw Utah into that mix next year because of their history and their head coach. So
yeah, absolutely, another one that's got a lot of really respected consistency on their program. Out of all the newcomers, they have the best chance to jump right in and have success right away.
I'm just curious, I would say, and you can disagree with this premise if you want, that a lot of Oklahoma State's, or some of it at least, their identity as a football program is sharing the state with Oklahoma and Bedlam and that rivalry. And there are obviously a lot of negatives that come along with Oklahoma leaving and that not continuing. But is there a positive leaf that Oklahoma State turns over, not having to kind of share that stage and maybe not even being as compared as much to Oklahoma anymore? Could that be a positive for the program?
Yes, I think it absolutely can. I think that they can establish themselves, kind of give themselves some autonomy within the Big 12 of not being under that shadow of this blue blood program that's right down the road from them. And obviously, there's always going to be the fan rivalry and the trash talk and all of those things, even though there's not going to be a game for the foreseeable future after this year. But it's definitely something that will, I think, let Oklahoma State be a little bit more in its own spotlight and not be tied to Oklahoma as much. And I think that they've done some of that by just with Mike Gundy and some of the high flying offenses that they had at different times, and they were up there with getting creative with uniform combinations to catch national attention and all those sorts of things that don't necessarily do anything for you on the field, but help your national branding. They've done a little bit of that kind of stuff, and I think they'll be able to do more of that as one of the long-term faces of the Big 12.
Well, congratulations for hanging on to your phone during that entire segment. I made it through without any lower leg pain, so good times.
It's a win-win for both of us, right?
Well done.
Scott, thank you. Really appreciate your time.
Absolutely. Anytime, guys.
Scott Wright from the Daily Oklahoman as we continue our Big 12 football previews with Oklahoma State. Jay Miller joins us, president of the Wichita Wind Surge, for our 5 questions segment. Jay, hello.
How are you guys doing?
We're hanging in there. We're having a robust time here with my son Jeff, our friend Jason Duda. We always have a good time when Duda enters the fray.
I love it. I'll answer the first question
Mac,
without being asked.
Go for it.
We will have Sprite in the press box for the next homestand.
Oh, my man.
Good gracious. Are you kidding?
That was a request.
That is just.
Oh, my God.
Bring your own Sprite.
Why would I?
Why make them change everything so you have a Sprite?
I bring a lot of value to the organization. I get to call some shots every now and then.
Well, spend $1.50 and get yourself a Sprite next time you walk in.
All right, let's hear the music, Max, and we'll get going officially with 5 questions.
Okay.
There you go. Jay Miller, our guest. So, Jay, you said when you came back to Wichita as the president of the Wind Surge that attendance was going to spike. If you have to look back on it, and it has, if you look back on it, what was the biggest thing that had to be done to make that happen?
Well, the biggest thing that had to be done, in my opinion, was we needed to be more price effective with our concessions and with our tickets. And those were the first 2 things I did. And I knew that if I did those things, having been in the area for 2 years and knowing the area and knowing the people, they were going to respond. And those were the 2 most important factors, is being much more affordable for families with concessions and then keeping their tickets where everybody can afford them.
What do you think of Wichita as a baseball town now that you've been able to be at the ballpark when games are going on? I've been impressed. No matter the size of the crowd, everyone's usually into the game. They're vocal, and that makes for a really good atmosphere. So, what have you thought about everything like that?
Well, and it's so important. Especially the last couple of homestands. This Wichita has reminded me of the early days of Round Rock, and if you guys know me, that's the biggest compliment I could possibly give Wichita, because Round Rock, we were having 8,000-9,000 people there every single night, and when it got to the 9th inning with 2 outs, people would get on their feet. And did you see that happen the last homestand? It was like the first time I'd seen it, and it just shows you that. Okay, people are getting into baseball here, and they want to win, and that kind of gave me goosebumps. And one of the nights, we only had a couple thousand people there, and then when it happens with 6,000 or 7,000 people there, then it's a whole different feeling. And I think Wichita is definitely a baseball town.
All right, well, these 2 guys ask you serious questions, but this one's a little heavier than normal for you, so you're going to have to think about it. It's not going to be as easy as you think when you hear it. But If you're going out to dinner tonight, your favorite place to go, and what do you order?
Duda only talks food on this show, Jay.
That's pretty good right there. Yeah, I got to think about that a minute.
I know. It's a little heavier than you'd think it would be, isn't it?
Yeah, because I'm so used to going to places like Picasso's or Dino's or something like that. But I like Chester's. I've been there a few times and really like that. I'm forgetting the name of the place over there by there, but there's another place I really like over there. If you said the name, I'd probably know it.
Firebirds, Bonefish.
That's it. That's it. Firebirds. I love their food there, and I love the atmosphere there
place.
too. Yeah.
Have you ever had their smoked BLT salmon?
No, but it sounds like I'm going to. Now, my wife.
I'm telling you what. I saw it there, Jay, and I was like, well, I got to try it. Maybe one of my favorite sandwiches I ever had.
And he's had a bunch of sandwiches.
A bunch of sandwiches.
He's having one now, in fact.
Well, my wife could eat salmon every day of the week. So if you
she
say
sounds like a wonderful lady.
Salmon sandwich is good there, that's where we're going next.
Love it. Jay Miller, our guest for 5 questions, president of the Wichita Wind Surge. So we know you're a baseball guy, Jay. We know you love the game. Who's your major league team, and how much can you follow Major League Baseball when you're in your position?
I follow it quite a bit. My favorite Major League team, and I'll tell you a funny story. I was asked by the owner of the Rangers, one of the years when the Cubs and the Rangers were both doing really well, what would happen if the Cubs were in the series against the Rangers. I said, well, could my answer possibly get me fired? He said, you never know. And I said, well, I can tell you, I grew up in Chicago, and the first ballpark I went to when I was 5 years old with my dad, and I met Ernie Banks, was Wrigley Field. Did I answer the question? And he goes, that's what I thought.
I may end the interview because I'm a Cardinals fan, but that's okay. We'll accept
I know,
that.
and it's so funny because every time the Cardinals are the one team in this league here in Wichita that makes a difference in our attendance. It's unbelievable. So whenever the Cardinal fans, they're prideful too. They wear their stuff, and every time I see a Cardinal fans come through the gate, I go and I said to them, "You guys ruined my life." That's why I've walked up to people and said, "You guys ruined my life." They go, "What?" And I go, 2011. I said, the Rangers, I was with the Rangers, and we were one strike away 5 times. And you guys, it is the greatest baseball game I've ever seen.
I could not believe I was watching that. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Jay, what's your question for us? And it can be collective or individual, whatever you want it to be.
Well, first of all, Bob, you tried to sneak by me the other day. You can't get by me. If you're at the ballpark, I'm going to find you. It was great to see you.
No, we absolutely had the time of our lives in the Fidelity Bank Club.
Isn't that awesome?
For one, the air conditioning was fantastic, and it's just an amazing ballpark, and we love it.
And I love the atmosphere there. And people. I tell people all the time, you don't have to be a baseball fan to come to a baseball park and enjoy yourself. And I think the Fidelity Club is a perfect example of that. But the question I have for you guys, because I'm relatively new to Wichita, obviously still, but you guys know how much I love Wichita. How do you feel about how things have progressed this year? Based on what happened those first couple of years, because I think that the fans have been great under the circumstances. And do you guys think it's a baseball town?
I'll say this. It's a tough crowd to win over. And that certainly did not happen early on. COVID was much to blame for that. The previous group that took over after Mr. Schweckheimer passed away, I don't think connected with this city in a way that certainly he did and you did when you were here previously. So you inherited kind of a wary fan base, in my opinion, that wanted to take a step back and make sure that everything was going to work out. I think you've made great strides. I still think, Jay, and I think you would agree, there's still room to grow with this. I think the best is yet to come.
I think you're 100% spot on, and little things that I've talked about that are starting to happen, with fans getting on their feet with 2 outs in the ninth, and and just the people that are coming out. And a lot of people have come out for a special event, whether it's the Bourbon Salute or 1,500 interns from Spirit Aero Systems or, a flea market or Asian festival. There's people coming out that have absolutely never been in the ballpark. And then now that
you guys have any answer to that, or
it's been great this year, Jay. There's a noticeable difference, at least in my little area of the press area and the control room. There's definitely a huge difference, and it's always been great, but it's even greater now.
It is sad that you made the special provision to bring Sprite.
That was my only problem with everything that's happened this year. That's it. Everything else is great, but you gave in to Sprite for Jeff. So I have a little issue there, but we'll knock that out if we ever run into each other.
Well, now it's can I afford it? It's probably a six-pack every game or every.
That's what I'm saying. Like he's going to put you under, and you're doing it for Jeff. That's something you're going to have to sleep on.
Just don't take out of my paycheck.
Jay, we always love talking to you. Congratulations on a really good year. 2 more homestands left. One next week out at Riverfront Stadium. Thanks, Jay.
I always appreciate you guys having me on. Thank you.
Thanks.
All right, there you go. That's the end of it. The end of the show, the end of the week. We'll take a break this weekend. We hope you have a cool one as much as you can. We'll be back on Monday. Thanks to Jeff and Jason. See you then.
It's that time of year for studying, researching, and lots of writing. But you don't have to do it on your own. You can get help from Grammarly for free. It's an AI-powered writing tool that supports you from start to finish, helping you dive deeper into your ideas, polish your writing, and even generate citations all in one place. Grammarly assists you in every step of the writing process, so you can feel confident in every assignment that you turn in. When you're stuck with starting your paper, Grammarly can kick things off with ideas, outlines, and tips. Looking for more feedback before you turn it in? Grammarly provides valuable suggestions to improve your paper. Plus, you can personalize your voice to make sure your writing is tailored to your reader for every paper and project. It's essential for students who want to make the grade. Go to Grammarly.com/students to download for free and learn more about Grammarly. That's GRAMMARLY.com/STUDENTS.